Alright guys, welcome back to another Detroit Lions video. Today we're going to be going over another rookie that was drafted in the 2020 NFL Draft by the Detroit Lions. Another rookie breakdown, and today we are going to be going over Jason Huntley. Yesterday we did Quintez Cephas. Tomorrow we'll go to John Pennicini, and then we'll go to Jayshon Cornell. And then we will, move and transition onto the 2020 season, go over the schedule, go over matchups, and we'll tell you what I think our record will be. And I'll go game by game and tell you what games I think we're going to win and lose and why. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. First, we got to go over all the rookies and learn the roster before we can make an accurate prediction on what the Lions will do next season. But before we actually get into the breakdown, if you are new to the channel and are enjoying the content, consider liking the video, subscribing to the channel, and sharing it with a fellow Lions fan. And if you're on the fence, just subscribe. It makes my day, and if you regret your decision at some point, you can always unsubscribe. So, but with that being said, let's get right into the rookie breakdown of Jason Huntley. So last season, Jason Huntley was a senior running back at New Mexico State. In his senior season, he had 154 attempts for 1,090 yards and 9 touchdowns. So very good production on the ground. I believe he averaged 7.1 yards a carry, if my math is correct. So obviously 7.1 yards a carry, that's almost a first down every single time he touched the ball. This guy is very fast, very electric. He was not invited to the NFL Combine, but he had an early pro day. He put out a video on YouTube, and in the video, he ran a 4.37 at the Combine, or not at the Combine, at his pro day. He was not invited to the Combine, but that time would have been the best out of every single player at the Combine last season. It would have been better than DeAndre Swift and J.K. Dobbins and Clyde Edwards-Helaire and Jonathan Taylor. He would have beat all those guys in the 40-yard dash, and those guys are not slow. So, this was kind of the Lions, get that 4.37 guy. Get that guy that runs on the 4.3s. I talked yesterday that, wide receivers don't necessarily need to be fast. We're talking about Quintez Cephas. They don't necessarily need a guy that runs in the 4.2s or the 4.3s. But the Lions went out the next, 6, 7 picks later and got a running back that ran in the 4.3s. They got that speed demon that can take the top off. He's a running back, but he can also play slot receiver. He's a very versatile guy. And they went out and got that guy, that home run hitter that can help the Detroit Lions in a different way than Quintez Cephas can. NFL scouts gave him a 5.68 grade, which roughly equates to him having a chance to make the end roster. I think he will make the end roster, if not as a running back, then as a return man. He's a very good return man. He uses his vision and his speed and his athleticism to, have very good kickoff returns, and, he took a lot of them back for touchdowns in his college career. In his college career, he returned, I guess, for 1,521 kickoff return yards and 5 touchdowns. So obviously very, very good return man, very explosive. If you give him a crease, if you give him an inch, he's taking a mile. He's just one of those players that if you aren't sound in your run defense and you leave him a gap and, there's nobody between him and the end zone, you're probably not going to catch him because he has that kind of speed. Against UTEP, he averaged 16 yards a carry. And I know UTEP isn't a big name school. I know they're not very good, but still 16 yards a carry against a Division I college football team is very, very impressive. So he has that explosiveness, that electricity that the Lions need. As far as his role is going to be, I think that he'll be a gadget player and a kick and punt returner. Think of what we did with J.D. McKissick last year. A guy that's going to take sweeps and end arounds and, some screen passes. They're going to get the defense moving one way, flip back the other, and before the defense can even react, he's using that 4.3 speed to hit the edge and get a big play. And I think this is a guy that the Lions need to get touches. This is a guy that he should be touching the ball 5 to 10 times a game. So not a ton, but he should, and then with those 5 to 10 touches, at least once a game, he's going to break off a huge run for a first down or a touchdown. I mean, it's just inevitable with his speed and athleticism that eventually you will make a mistake and he will capitalize and take it for 6. That's just a player that he is. And I think that's going to be kind of his role as a Detroit Lion. Some of his pros, obviously, as I said, elite speed and quickness. He is one of the fastest players in the country. and he is very athletically gifted. So that helps him obviously be a good running back because nobody can really touch him. Very elusive as a running back. He's going to make people miss. He's more of a Barry Sanders type more than a Marshawn Lynch. He's looking to make you miss, make you look goofy and silly in the middle of the field, and then he's going to go right around you and take it for 6 points. He has great vision as a runner. His offensive line wasn't great at New Mexico State, but he made it work. He got 1,000 yards. And I know, it's New Mexico State, but still 1,000 yards is 1,000 yards in Division I football. And he has good vision behind the line to find a gap and just go. He hits the gap and he is, gone. He accelerates very fast, and a lot of players don't have the speed to catch him. Those are kind of his strengths: elite speed, elite quickness, good vision, amazing athleticism, which is something the Lions need. The Lions aren't a team that is built around quick strike, can score in one play kind of offense. And I think they're trying to get some of that element in the offense. I think we saw that last year when they brought in Marvin Hall, and I think we're seeing it this year when we're bringing in, Jason Huntley. Both of those guys are home run hitters that can get you huge chunk plays very, very fast. And, I don't think that they're necessarily trying to be the Kansas City Chiefs, but I think they're trying to add an element of that quick strike. If you aren't prepared, we're going to hit you over the top, or we're going to have a home run hit that goes right for 70 yards and a touchdown in 1 or 2 plays. They want that threat so that backs the guys up a little bit and leaves Galladay and Amendola and Marvin Jones and, Quintez Cephas room underneath to work. And I think that's what the point of Marvin Hall and Jason Huntley is to just make the defense fear that speed that, if you're too close, Marvin Hall is going to beat you over the top, and he's going to go in for 6, as he did several times last year for the Lions. Some of his weaknesses, obviously he played at New Mexico State, so he wasn't going against he wasn't going against great competition. He wasn't going against the Alabamas of the world, the Ohio States, the LSUs. He was playing pretty poor competition. He was playing the UTEPs of the world, the Georgia Southerns. But even if you're not playing great competition, he showed he has the ability to, do good things in the NFL, and speed is speed. No matter who you're playing, if you can run in the, 4.3s, you can run in the 4.3s. It's not like your speed is determined by who you play. Your athleticism is not determined by who you play. You could say that his production is higher than it would be if he played in the SEC, but you don't know that. He didn't play in the SEC. You don't know. So that's a negative, that he didn't have great competition and didn't necessarily show that he can play against the biggest, fastest, strongest athletes in the world. But he wasn't given the opportunity, so I can't fault him too much for that because we never actually got to see it. If we saw it, then we could make a more accurate prediction of how he matches up. He's not really a between the tackles kind of runner. He's a guy that you get on the edge, you give him sweeps, you give him end arounds, you give him, touch passes, something that gets him around the tackles, away from those big defensive linemen that, are bigger, stronger than him, that are going to definitely take him down if they get a hand on him. And you get him out in the open field against cornerbacks or even safeties, and he's going to make them miss. And, that's his game. Getting to the outside, getting chunk yardage, and not necessarily running between the tackles. That's just not a strength of his. He has good strength, but he doesn't necessarily have the power to be a super efficient inside the tackles kind of runner. But we got Kerryon Johnson for that. We got Bo Scarborough for that. That's not necessarily a role that needs to be filled for the Detroit Lions. And then this is not a con on him. This is not a, bash at him. He had no control over this. I think that a lot of Lions fans didn't like this pick because Bradley Anae, a pass rusher from Utah, was still on the board. He's a very good player. Matt Patricia worked with him at the Senior Bowl. And I think a lot of Lions fans really liked him and were thinking that we were going to get him in the 5th round. And obviously we ended up not doing that. So I think that was kind of why some people are like, oh, this was a horrible pick. Some people really, really don't like this pick. But obviously he has no control over who's still on the board. He has no control over what team takes who. So that was not a con on him. I just thought I would mention that if, somebody's mad about the pick, that could be a reason why. And I understand that. I know that the Lions need pass rush. And I fully agree with that. But, don't fault the kid for something he has no control over. As I said, I think he'll be a gadget player and a return man. I think that he's not gonna have a ton of production, but when he gets the ball every couple times, somebody's gonna make a mistake on the defense. The defense can't be perfect 100% of the time, and he's gonna exploit that and make a big play happen for the Lions, which is something that they need in their offense. Um, my original grade on this was a B minus, and I think I'm going to stick with that. The main reason being it was in a position of need. I know Jamal Agnew has struggled, but he has shown that he has the ability to be an all-pro punt and kick returner for the Detroit Lions, and I think that that's really why we brought him in, is to replace that role. And I just feel like we're giving up on Jamal Agnew, which, I'm not in the locker room. I don't know. I don't know what's going on in the Lions organization. If they don't like him, if they don't think that he's producing at a high enough level that they have confidence that they can put him out there and not fumble the ball, then, you got to take him off the field. You can't put a player out there that's going to turn the ball over too many times. And, unfortunately, if he can't hold on to the ball, if he can't retain possession for the Detroit Lions, he's not going to play for the Detroit Lions, which is really sad because I really like watching Jamal Agnew. I think that he's a very, very good punt and kick returner. Maybe they'll both be on the team and switch it up and just go with a hot hand. But I unfortunately think that Jason Huntley's coming in to replace Jamal Agnew at that kick and punt return spot. So that's unfortunate for Jamal, but, that might free up a roster space for an Everson Griffin or a Marcus Golden or, somebody else to come in and help, since Jason Huntley can fill two roles as a running back gadget player and a kick returner. Then we could take out that cornerback and Jamal Agnew that kid, is a depth guy that doesn't get a lot of touches or playing time other than kick and punt return, and we could bring in somebody else that's going to play a lot. So that is kind of my opinion. That is kind of my thought. That is kind of what you need to know on Jason Huntley. I think he's a very good football player. I think he's very athletically gifted. I think that he's going to surprise some people in the preseason. I think that he's going to take a lot of handoffs, and I think that he's going to make a lot of big plays happen for the Detroit Lions, both pre and regular season, and if we make it that far, even postseason. But I think he'll be a fan favorite just because he'll make big plays happen, and I think that's something that fans love to see, is when an offense gets 20, 30, 40, or even more yards on a single play. That fires up the offense, that turns the mood around immediately. Just hypes everybody up, gives everybody that energy that, hey, that was a big play, gets everybody hyped, get everybody's blood flowing and moving, gets the adrenaline going. And I think that, he's going to be a fan favorite for the Lions. But I don't think that he's going to be, obviously, a power back. I don't think that he's going to be a premier back for the Detroit Lions, but I think that he will have a role to play, and I think that he will make the most of that role. So, that's all I got for today. If there is a signing, if there is, anything happening in the Detroit Lions world, I will obviously let you guys know. I will make a video and update everybody that follows me. But if not, I will wait and see you guys tomorrow for the John Pennicini prospect breakdown video. And I hope everybody stays safe, stays healthy, and has a great day. But that's me, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.